My supreme namaskarams to Mr. Padmanabh Garu and his daughter Miss Garu, and all others who are viewing this, and best wishes to all the students. It's my proud privilege to speak to you on this very interesting and necessary act for the development of this country. We discussed about various aspects, including about the introduction and objects of the RTI Act on the previous occasion. Now, today, we will be discussing some of the important rights and duties and other aspects. Before that, just for our remembrance, I only say few words about the previous lecture. This Act, the Right to Information Act 2005, has come into force on 15th June 2005. This has turned the entire administration in India from Gram Panchayat to the Chief Secretary into an open book. Anyone can seek information from the Public Information Officer on any subject relating to the administration and secure it for no cost. The information sought for shall be on the affairs of the state and shall not relate to the matters of common knowledge. This we must keep in our mind. This Act has abolished all the previous acts. The statement of objects and reasons clearly shows that this Act has come into force in order to ensure greater and more effective access to information. For that purpose, the previous Act, the Freedom of Information Act 2002, was repealed. The proposed legislation, that is the Right to Information Act 2005, this is made only to provide an effective framework for effectuating the right of information recognized under Article 19 of the Constitution of India. When we look into the Act, we will find that the practical regime of right to information for citizens to secure access to information under the control of public authorities. They want to provide this right to all citizens. For what purpose? In order to promote transparency and accountability in the working of every public authority. For that purpose, this Act has come into force. Section 2 of the Act, it says about what are the definitions, how we can define a word unless the context otherwise requests. In it, as I said earlier, section 2I and J are important. They define about record and what is right to information. Then section 3 says the right to information, subject to the provisions of this Act, all citizens shall have the right to information. So non-citizens cannot seek for any information under this Act from any public authority. This right is created for citizens and denied to non-citizens in order to see the security of the state, security of us are protected. A citizen of this country is having more valuable right and dignity and other all constitutional and other rights. That's why an Article 19 is there for a citizen. This section 3 says about that right is being there to citizens. What is that right? He has got a right for information. Then section 4 says about what are the public authorities, and what they have to do, how they have to maintain records and all that. And then section 4.2 is very important. And this says about suo motu giving information about all the information that is available with public authority by disseminating it to through the media or by keeping it available on the net and other, so that 50% of the applications can be avoided. If it is available in the net, why will you go and apply by giving an application? So this provision under section 4.2 is created an opportunity for the citizens to have access for the information through the available sources, and a duty on the public authority to constantly endeavor for suo motu giving such information to the public at regular intervals. And this dissemination must be widely in such form and manner which is easily accessible to all. Then we have got section 5 deals with designation of public information officers. Section 6 is very important. It says section 6 class 2. Class 1 says you must make a request in writing or through electronic means in English or Hindi in the official language of the area in which the application is made, accompanying such fees as may be prescribed. So you have to make an application and pay some fees as required, either in English or in Hindi, so that the concerned authority, public authority, understands what you want and whether he is having it or not. Then class 2, this is very important, keep it in mind. There is a question given in previous papers regarding section 6.2 and 11 and 26 and 27 and 28 sections. And there is a judgment also, which I will give at the end of the session about this. So section 6.2 says an applicant making request for information shall not be required to give any reason for requesting the information or any other personal details except those that may be necessary for contacting him. So this is very important. Two aspects. One, you need not give any reasons, and two, you need not give any explanation about your personal detail, except the information that is required to contact you for furnishing the information. So this section, how it is important, we'll see it when we deal with section 11 and section 27 and 28. Keep it in mind. As per section 6.2, if you are making an application, you need not give any reasons for what purpose you need that particular information which you are requiring to give to you. And secondly, you need not give any explanation or details of you. Simply you can give your address where you can you are available for contacting purposes. Why? Two purposes. One is, if you give reasons, the opposite parties may come to know that you are going to make use of this particular information for that purpose. Second is, the opposite parties whose information you are requiring to know may cause any inconvenience or trouble to you after knowing about your full details. So they don't want that any details to be given along with the application. And if you give simply your address for contacting purpose along with the application by paying required fees, that is sufficient. That is section 6.2. Then suppose if the officer to whom you made application is not having the information which you are requesting, then he himself will send that particular application to the concerned authority who is having that information with him and then intimate it to you. Then thereafter, section 7 says that particular application of you with a request for information has to be disposed of as early as possible, preferably within 30 days. Already we discussed about it. Then if it deals with life or liberty of a person, it has to be provided to you within 48 hours of the receipt of the request. So this is very important. If the request of information is in respect of necessity for protecting your life, then life or liberty of a person, it has to be given within 48 hours. That is important. If it is otherwise, within 1 month. But the public authority must see that your application is disposed of or your information is given as early as possible. That is very important. Then if within that time, if it is not provided to you, section 6.2 says it is deemed as refused. And under section 6.3, that the intimation is furnished to you about why that particular information is not provided to you. Then section 4 says, 6.4 says, if you are sincerely disabled, అంటే మానసికంగా మీకు ఏమైనా డిజబిలిటీ ఉంటే మీరు రిక్వైర్డ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గురించి తెలుసుకోలేకపోతే ద పర్టికులర్ ఆఫీసర్ the state public information officer, as the case may be, whosoever officer he may be, he shall provide assistance to you, that is the person who made application, to enable access to the information, including providing such assistance as may be appropriate for the inspection also. Suppose you are not knowing exactly what is the information that is required and where that is available, then you can go to that officer. If you are sincerely disabled and explain to him, sir, I am having this disability, I want to have access to that information, please allow me to inspect that document, and then he will permit you by giving necessary assistance as required. And then you can see that particular record at first. After seeing the record, then you will understand what is the information that is absolutely required to you. Then only to that necessary information only you will make an application and pay fees and other things you will comply with. So sincerely disabled persons, as per section 6.4, can seek for assistance of the public relation officer, and who is bound to give such information to you. So if the information is available in the net or in electronic media and other form, digital form, then you have to pay necessary fees, the extra amount that is required for that purpose. Then section 7 says 7.7. This is very important. Already I said about 6.2, you need not give any reasons for requesting the information, and also need not disclose about personal details as per section 6.2. Here 7.7 says like this: before taking any decision under subsection 1, that is as per section 7.1, the competent authority is entitled to take necessary decision whether to furnish information or not. Section 7.7 says, before that authority is going to take any decision either to furnish information or not, he must consider the representation made by a third party under section 11. This information is in respect of an information that is related to a third party, not concerned to the government. Suppose a third party furnishes information to government, and government is having the information of that third party, and you have made an application for the information of a third party. Then what is the procedure? That procedure is there in section 11. We will see in section 11 what is that procedure while discussing about section 11. But section 7.7 says you have to comply with section 11 and consider the objections of that party, third party, before making a decision. That we will see later on. Then if you are rejecting in giving information, you must furnish the decision to the concerned person and also mention it in it about the authority who is appellate authority over that decision, and then you can approach that appellate authority with the necessary request for the same. Then I already stated about exemption from disclosure of information. There are A to J. A to J, section 8, deals with the matters regarding which you are not entitled for information. You are not entitled to make any request over those issues. But important in section 8 is section 8I. This section 8I is in respect of cabinet papers, including records of deliberations of the Council of Ministries, secretaries, and other officers. What it means is, government in a democratic system runs through the employees of it, headed by the minister. The Council of Ministers circulate some cabinet papers among us them, and the secretaries working under them, they will give their own reasons about whether a particular act or particular request to be complied with or not. Or suppose they want to construct a dam, Council of Ministers, they discuss, Finance Minister and Irrigation Minister and the other officials, they discuss. And while while going through the discussions, they give their own reasons. And they will give some material also for taking those decisions, whether you are entitled for such information. It says you are not entitled for the same, but there is a proviso. What that proviso says is, provided, this reads like this: provided that the decisions of Council of Ministers, the reasons thereof, and the material on the basis of which the decisions were taken shall be made public after the decision has been taken and the matter is completed or over. What does it mean? Before taking decision by the Council of Ministers, the communications made among us, Council of Ministers and the other officers and others, you are not entitled for the information. They need not disclose. They can keep it with them. But once after the decision is taken, it is completed, if you make such a request regarding what is the decision, what are the reasons, what is the material on the basis of which the decision is taken, for all this, then this particular section 8 I proviso says the public officer is entitled to give such information, and you are having a right to seek for the information of that. Further, there is another proviso for the same. These two provisos run together. One is, till the decision is taken, you are not entitled for the information. Second is, after the decision is taken, you are entitled for the same. Then again, the other proviso is there that says, provided further that those matters which come under the exemption specified in the section shall not be disclosed. It means, what are the exemptions from section 8, A to I, A to J? There are certain exemptions regarding which subjects you are not entitled to seek for any information. So, even after the Council of Ministers takes a decision, if you are asking for any information in respect of that exempted information, you are not entitled for such information. So the public authority is having a right to refuse to give information, right to refuse to disclose that information. This is what it says. Then J. This J, section 8J. It deals with and regarding information which relates to personal information, the disclosure of which has no relationship to any public activity or interest, or which would cause unwarranted invasion of the privacy of the individual, unless the central public relation officer or the state public relation officer or the appellate authority, as the case may be, is satisfied that the larger public interest justifies the disclosure of such information. So, regarding personal information, which has nothing to do with any public activity or interest, you are not entitled for unwarranted invasion of the privacy of the individual, unless that officer, the public relations officer, feels that he is satisfied that the larger public interest justifies the disclosure of such information. So what has to be decided by the public authority is he has to see whether the public interest justifies for giving the information, though it relates to the personal information. I am working as an officer. I have got some personal information that I disclosed it to the government because I am working there. Whether the third party can approach and seek for that information. The Act says you are not entitled because that is a personal information not related to the discharge of my duties or a public activity or interest, because it invades the privacy of me. Then the Act says if the public information officer considers that the information which is sought for, though it relates to personal information of me, in the interest of public, if he wants to do, he can give. But what is the test? Public relation officer has to satisfy that the larger public interest justifies for the disclosure of that information. This is important. Then there is another provision. That provision says that the information which cannot be denied to the parliament or the state legislature shall not be denied to any person. So what is this right? What is this right? This right is suppose parliament or state legislature. Parliament includes both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. State legislature includes assembly and council. They seek for some information. Then immediately public authorities furnishes that information. If any information that is given to parliament and state legislature under any circumstances by any authority, then it shall not be denied to any person. So a citizen is having as much right as under section 4 as equal to that of the parliament and state legislature in getting the information from the concerned authorities. So then section 9, it says regarding copyrights. If a copyright is given already to some third parties or to anybody in respect of some information, you are not entitled to seek for the information, that information, because already copyright is there to him. Then section 10 says that you sought for some information, 1, 2, 3, on several subjects. Some subjects are exempted under section 8 and some subjects are not exempted under section 8. Then what is the course to be adopted by the public authority, state information officer or central information officer is give that information which are not exempted, which is not exempted. The other information which is exempted under section 8, you can refuse. So this is what section 10, severability, it says. Then he has to give reason. Now section 11, this is very important. Section 11 says how you have to proceed with about an information which relates to a third party. You want to disclose any information or record or part thereof relates to a third party that is supplied by third party to the government, which is treated as confidential by third party. While giving that information by third party to government, it has already mentioned to the third party, sir, this is a very confidential information of me, but I am giving it to you because you are asking, government is asking, I am giving it to you. Then in that case, after a request application is received by the public relation authority, within 5 days of that request, he must inform to third party, Baba, you are already, you have submitted that information by mentioning that you are treating it as confidential, but that information is sought by making an application to us. What are your objections? Please explain to us. What are your objections for giving that information of you, which you treat it as confidential? Then that third party, he must make a submission in writing or orally regarding whether the information should be disclosed, and such submission of that third party shall be taken into consideration by the public authority before taking a decision either to grant such information or refuse it. This is the very important. Again, there is a provision. While taking the decision, the public authority must keep in mind, in case of trade or commercial secrets protected by law, disclosure may be allowed if the public interest in disclosure outweighs the importance of any possible harm or injury to the interest of the third party. So, while dealing with an application for information in relation to a third party, the public relations officer or commissioner, he must keep in mind two aspects. Whether that third party, while submitting the information, has mentioned that such information is confidential of him. If he says that it is confidential, then the officer has to give a notice to the third party about the request made to it within 5 days. Then that particular person who is third party, he must give a submission in writing or orally whether that information to be disclosed it or not. Then thereafter a decision has to be taken. At that stage, the officer has to take into consideration whether that information relates to the trade or commercial interest secrets protected by law. Suppose the information is sought for in respect of a trade or commercial secrets, then that secrets are protected by law and secrets are related to third party, information may be refused. But before that, the authority must keep into consideration that whether public interest in disclosure outweighs the importance of any possible harm. If this information is given to the person who requested, whether it outweighs or it causes any harm or injury to the interest of such third party. So that person, third party, within 10 days he must give his objections. Thereafter, within 40 days, the public relations officer, he must give his reasons and give or refuse to give such information. This is the mechanism of dealing with an application for third party information. Then if he refuses to give or if he allows to give, then he must make a mention in the order that if you are aggrieved, then you can go to appeal, and the appellate authority's address is as follows. This is mentioned in section 4. Then section 12, 13 and 14, they are all related to the qualifications and conditions of service, other aspects about the constitution of Central Information Commission, terms of conditions and service, and removal of other things. So we now dealt with section 11 about third party procedure. Then section 19 deals with procedure about how to deal with a decision of a public relations officer who has refused or given the information to you by passing orders. What you can do is after this decision, within 30 days, you can approach the appellate authority. Central Public Information or State Public Information Officer under Section 19, after the decision is given by him, you can prefer an appeal within 30 days to the concerned officer. Then, for any reason, if you cannot approach within that 30 days, you can give sufficient cause and explain and seek for remedy of preparing appeal. Section 20 deals with penalty, and section 21 to 25, they deal with the actions of all public authorities performed under this act are protected. No person can go to any court over these actions. Then section 27, 28 and 26, 27, 28. These sections, they deal with what is expected to be done by way of performing the discharge of their duties and carrying out some programs for implementation of the information under providing the information under this act. Then thereafter, the concerned public authorities, for example, you are making an application to a court seeking for information, then the High Court can make rules about how this act can be implemented under section 27, 28. Now the controversy is under section 4, you need not give any reasons for making an application and why you are want that information. So the High Court or the public authority, they are making some rules. What are those rules? They will say whether and under what circumstances, what are the reasons under which you are seeking for the information. Then the Honorable Supreme Court recently, in the month of March, delivered a judgment. It's a 3-bench judgment. The judgment is, I'm stating the names, in Chief Information Officer versus High Court of Gujarat. What has happened is, High Court of Gujarat made some rules mentioning that if you are making an application to any court in Gujarat state seeking for information relating to any third party or of the state government or central government that is available with any court, then you must mention the reasons for what purpose you want it, and you also mention, file an affidavit. And then these particular rules made by the High Court are contrary to section 4, which says that no reasons to be given. Then the matter went up to Supreme Court. The Honorable Supreme Court held 3-bench decision stating the High Court rules are correct. There is no total refusal, but High Court seeks for certain information before giving the information required. It wants some reasons. You have to file affidavit. But most of the civilians or the persons who are believing democracy, they are saying this particular decision is in contravention of section 4.